Hey guys, what's up? Aigey here, and welcome to the next episode of Objectives Over Kills. Today I've got a very special friend of mine, Nike, who just recently hit Diamond 5, and he's going to be helping me out today, just so we can talk about a few different things that you guys need to be doing. Now what we're actually doing is we're in a custom game, and I'm playing a champion that I'm not very comfortable with. So I'm going to be working on getting CS and trading with people in lane. Now, the reason why we did beginner bots is because it makes it significantly easier to try and practice something like this. When you are fighting people in a real game, they're not going to give you any time to learn anything. They don't care. They just want to kill you, and they just want to either talk trash or whatever. But in a custom game, you're able to practice 2v1 lanes, which will help you deal with multiple people at the same time. So, what I'm doing is I'm getting destroyed in lane, but that's okay. The bots will probably destroy you early, obviously, since it's a 2v1 lane, and that's what you need to practice. Also, you should be able to 2v1 beginner bots, but let's talk to my friend Hanike here for a moment. So, Hanike, when did you start playing League?
Hello, I've started playing League in beta. I've been here for a very long time. 2010.
Okay. Now when you started and you were like just selecting a champion that you like wanted to learn and get better with, what kind of advice would you give to people when they're trying to find a champion that they want to play? Like when people say that they should play the meta picks like Jax or Tristana, but like what would you suggest?
Well, this game's a lot easier to pick up now than it was in the past. As you can see, I'm playing Lulu top. She's also a very good support. She is a counter to very meta picks like Jax, and she does very good against other common picks, Maokai top, Maokai jungle. She's very hard, she's very safe. There are some picks out there that are not entirely the generic. Most people think top lanes AD bruisers. Only recently not really recently, but Ryze is a good top. He's always been. There's also a good range top. Range tops are always good. They're safer than AD bruisers now.
Okay. But yeah, so that's one thing you want to think about is like you can play whoever you want to when you're picking champions. It doesn't really matter. Like for example, I want to learn how to play Vayne, and the easiest way for me to learn to play Vayne is to practice farming with her and dealing with people 2v1 in a bot situation, because I don't understand her mechanics yet enough to make good decision calls when I want to go in or when I want to disengage. It's all about practice with that right now. But once I start playing this a little bit more and really doing 2v1 lanes as bots and then eventually doing 1v5 bots, I'll have the mechanics down so I will feel confident enough when playing against actual people. Because real people are not going to give you a break at all. But Hanike, so you hit Diamond, and a lot of people, what they want to know is how do I get to Diamond? How do I get out of being in Bronze or Silver or whatever? What would you say are some common mistakes that people in the lower elos would make? Like, what's a common mistake that you see?
A lot of the common mistakes are, some are pre-game champion select, some are in-game. Pre-game, you should always strive to know all your roles. Granted, you're going to be better at some than others. If you're better at some, you should type in preference. I am mainly a middle or bot lane preference guy, but I still can top lane, I can still jungle. You need to learn how to do all the roles. Even if you're not good with one role, you need to learn how to do it because you might be pigeonholed into it. That's pre-game. In-game is a lack of vision. It's not just a support's job to ward. It never was, even before the 3 ward limit. Now it's everyone's job. The person that should probably have the least amount of wards is the AD carry, but your top lane, your jungle, they need to ward. Lack of vision will get a lot of people killed. Another common mistake is overcommitment or undercommitment. If you undercommit to a thing that you can get a kill on, you just wasted your time. If you overcommit and you get killed, you wasted your time and you fed the enemy team. You need to learn your strengths, your weaknesses, what you can and what you can't do with your champion.
Yep, and all that's good. That's very good information, because a lot of the mistakes that I make right now are heavily along the lines of not warding enough when I'm playing a different role. As a support main, learning how to play Vayne, one of the most, in my opinion, mechanically intensive champions to learn how to play, and not the easiest champion to play at all period right now, because of how bot lane goes and who's playing what, because you're going to see a lot of Caitlyn, a lot of Lucian, and just understanding and knowing what your matchups are going to be is crucial to getting better at the game. Warding will help you, yes. You need to make sure that not only the support is warding. If you're playing mid lane, if you're playing top lane, if you're even playing jungle, sometimes jungles will have more wards placed out than a support depending on who's the jungler. And I'm not talking just Lee Sin, I'm talking people like Maokai will have more wards than a support simply because of the item builds. It all depends on who you're playing, what and where, but you most definitely should be warding. Even as an AD carry, if you first back a pink ward and put it in this tri-bush right here, that's significantly more helpful to your support, because then they can pink a bush up here or even push the bush that I just walked to. It just, the more wards and the more vision that you have, the easier it'll be for you to potentially win a lane, because you'll know when a gank's coming and they'll just waste their time, which is what you want them to do. Just having that extra information, that 10 seconds of information, is very crucial, because that gives you 10 seconds of reaction time, whereas you would only have 1 or less in a different situation without wards. Another thing that you need to make sure that you want to know is your limitations on a specific champion. Like, for example, if you're playing and you have no idea what X or Y champion does, then you can't fight them, because you won't know what your strengths or weaknesses are against them, because they might just turn and kill you. They legitimately just might turn and kill you, and you won't understand why. Also, paying attention to item builds, making sure that you press that tab button to check CS, to check who's ahead of you, who does the most damage on the team, who's really not that effective, so that you can build correctly. There's no static build. You don't always want to rush Blade of the Rune King into Phantom Dancer on Vayne. Sometimes you might even want to get Blade of the Rune King into Triforce. It really just depends on what you need at the current time and who you're fighting. Also, sometimes you might need to get a Sword of the Divine on specific champions, or you might want to grab a Ghost Blade depending on how much you're kiting. It all depends on what you're fighting. It's never going to be the same thing every time, and that's something that a lot of people make a mistake on. A person that I very strongly suggest that you watch on YouTube is FoxDrop. He is a very good Diamond 1 player. He makes a lot of videos about getting better at League, and a lot of the stuff that he does is very in-depth, and he even does streaming very in-depth conversations about what needs to happen, what people do in lower elos that are major mistakes, and how you can improve your game. So I very strongly suggest that you watch FoxDrop, LOL, and I will link his profile either in the video or in the description, and I very strongly suggest watching him, because he has a lot of amazing information, and he writes really great articles about this kind of stuff that I'm talking about right now. Alright guys, basically this video was a short little talk on some things that you can work on. Just make sure that you constantly work on your CS. Had a word from Hanaik here. Special thanks to him for coming out today. I appreciate it a lot, for coming and talking with the people that are interested in increasing their ability and getting better at this game. And like and subscribe below, guys. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Oh god, he's gonna eat me! No! No!